Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 30th of September 2019. The time is 9:36 a.m. GMT time. So just a quick overview of EURJPY study. On the weekly chart, as we can see, we are still aware of this 114.85 level, but we're still looking at price objectively. Okay, so we know and believe price is going down to 114.85, but we're not married to that idea. Okay, we believe it for lots of different reasons, but you still need to be able to look at the charts objectively, because if you get a shift in flow, which is, potent enough, you have to respect that and go with what you're seeing on the charts. So we've come down into an area, the 117.35 that I noted, and you can see prices respected that somewhat. Okay, we've had a nice reaction from there, nothing over the top, but we've had a nice reaction from there. So it's important now to realize when you mark these levels, and you understand the reason why you're marking the levels. Okay, price goes down, it respects it. Okay, fine. So you're happy with that. But then you need to take a step back and actually understand, price has just respected that level. Yeah. I know that sounds bizarre because you draw a line, in the right place, price comes down, it respects, or price goes up and it respects that level. Okay. And then you say, right, price has respected that level. Let's see what happens going forward. But it's important to understand it's hit that level. So you take that information going forward, yeah, and you look at it and you say, okay, it's respected that level. And now that I know it's respected that level, I know that level matters, yeah, and especially when it's in an area that makes sense. This makes sense to me. We've been going down for a long time, okay, and it's been pretty much taking out these big areas for a while, these areas here, this big candle here, and it's kind of negated the whole thing, and it's grinding towards that 114.85 level. And as it's popped up a little bit here, this is the first level in the time that we've been studying EURJPY that it makes sense to really pay attention to now, because this could very well be an area where it does one of two things: either starts to grind sideways in terms of negating this overall flow down. Okay, could be one of two things that could negate the overall flow down. Start to consolidate and go sideways, which is not ideal. Okay, because it would draw out the study. We're going to continue to study EURJPY. That's fine, but it will draw out the study and just make things a bit longer, a bit more boring. Or it respects this level nicely, maybe retests it a second time, takes out the low, grinds higher, and takes out the high here. Okay, which would be very, very interesting. All right. So again, we understand and we know and we believe 114.85 is in play. There's a big liquidity pull down there. It makes sense, fine. But we still, like I said, have to look at price objectively and understand what's going on the charts that we're looking at. If we drop down to the daily, let's just zoom in one. We know where we've come from. Okay, we know the general flow. Nice order flow shift here, which I went through in the previous video, albeit somewhat irritatably. But anyway, nice little shallow rallies. I mean, this is very muted. Big drop. Okay, grind. It's hit the level once, takes out the low. Second time, takes out the low. So it's this one as well. Nice move away from that level. Okay, and this is the weekly level that we've noted, the 117.35. We really need to see price through this convincingly now. If it gets through this convincingly, we can really start to pay attention to those imbalances below, and obviously the higher time frame liquidity pool, which would be down here at 114.85. So dropping down to the 4 hour, just zoom out one. We can see the structure. We know where we've been. We know what we're doing. Again, I don't want to overexhaust. When we started up to now, we can see what price is doing. There was a couple of opportunities. Obviously, the two highs here, which I noted at the time, which were very simple, very easy. Pop up into those levels after this nice spike down, which was pretty obvious for me personally. And then obviously the shift here and this one here. So there's been a few occasions where you can look at price and say, yep, I've been monitoring this, I've been paying attention to this, I've been going through the study, and I can see the general flow of EURJPY as it's moving towards that higher time frame liquidity pool. So going forward into this week, there's a lot of speakers, a lot of news. We've got, non-farm and so on, so there's a lot of reasons why EURJPY can be affected and go up or down and, kind of do its own thing. But ultimately, in my head and on the charts, I'm still waiting for the right moment where I can say, yep, I'm not expecting up here. I'm not, expecting this level. I know it's just gonna rip now. That's what I'm waiting for. And rejection plays a massive part in all of that, but the rejection has to happen in certain places. It's no good, price just kind of popping up a little bit, takes out this very small high here, and then rejection starts to grind lower because it's just going to hit the 117.35 and just stay there, maybe bounce around here for a little while. So it's important to understand that. What we need to see is, clear manipulation, bang, up here, takes out everything, rejects, something very similar to this. Now, this doesn't happen all the time, obviously, okay? But it happens often enough and in varying degrees for us to pay attention to it, to glean information from, to get confirmation from, and to, use that information, in our trade decisions. So these things, unfortunately, it's one of those things you just got to wait for. And again, it's not specific to it has to look like this. I'm just saying the act of rejection itself, the manipulation, the rejection, the stop hunt, the stop run, so on. So like I said, the 117.35 is something that we're going to be paying, the level we're going to be paying a lot of attention to this week and going forward. Obviously, I really want to see price through this. Lots of reasons below. If price convincingly gets through this, there's lots of reasons below to continue going lower, okay, which is what we're expecting. But on the upside, I wouldn't really want to see price much past this point here. Much past this point here. And I'm going to make this quite thick. Just kind of really flesh it out, make it clear. Don't really want to see price much past this point here. The 118.85. Okay, so if price does rip to the upside, this is really where I want it to stop. Now, to be honest, I don't actually want it to go up there. I'm just saying that's the area where if it does go up there, I don't really want to see price past that point. I want to see it stop like a brick and turn around, and do it convincingly in quite spectacular fashion, so to speak. But again, we are at the mercy of the market. The market does what it wants. We can only watch. If you're reading a story on the printed page, the words are the words. You can't change the dynamic of the story. You can't change the storyline. You can't change what you're reading. You just have to go with the flow. Yeah, it's the same thing. We know what's going on the charts. There are a couple of opportunities and moments in time that we're expecting. But until they actually happen, there's not a great deal we can do. And I'm certainly not an anticipatory trader. I like to see confirmation and work with the ranges that make the most sense to me. So again, going forward into this week, that's pretty much what I'm expecting. And just to really clarify, I want to see price through 117.35 and I don't want to see it past 118.85. Okay, so if price gets through the 118.85 level and starts to grind towards this level up here, it has to, as far as I'm concerned, it has to take this out and do it again convincingly and remain above that level for me to even consider changing my my bias to long for a while. But it's not going to change the fact that I still believe the 114.85 is still in play. This is something that I've had my eye on for quite a while, and obviously since we started the study, and I was expecting it, to be honest, to actually do it here. And just kind of dip down there, do what it needs to do, and then finish. But it didn't do that. I'm not seeing this as a higher low, and using this information, to trade another cross or something else on the euro currency side of things. But that's where we stand. That's where we stand. So we will leave it at that, guys. I'll have another update for you if something changes, obviously, and something happens and it's quite convincing. That's great. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. And I will catch up with you guys probably, if nothing happens today, convincing or nice, I'll jump over, I'll jump on tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon maybe, if I find time, or in the evening, just for another quick update. So I'll see you guys then. Take care and I'll speak to you soon.